Hey, community. Here's what's brewing today.
Quiet quitting.
Jackson, Mississippi, H2O.
And Chappelle Rocksmith, round 2. So get your edges and your cups ready for Minoritea Report.
Hey, welcome to Minoritea Report. It's Auntea Kerel.
It's Auntea Jerrell.
And it's Auntea Landie filling in for Auntie Dewan, who is living her best Italian life right now.
She is.
She looked relaxed and everything in them pictures.
Yes.
I'm like, go ahead, girl. That's the way to do it.
You can tell she clocked all the way out.
All the way out.
All the way out.
And you can tell the difference between like the first few days and like even like now when we're recording, because like first few days she was still kind of chiming in here on the text and shit like that. Mm-hmm. Aho was quiet now.
Chirp, chirp.
Crickets.
Chirp, chirp.
Crickets.
So we're like, she all the way.
But that story got 16 posts behind it though.
I know that's right. So yeah, so Dewan is still living that Italian Vogue life right now.
I know that's
and
right.
I'm jealous because I need to go somewhere.
They're going to like 3 cities, like 3 Rome, Florence, and something that's
Santorini.
Yeah, Santorini.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Drinking bubbles and looking good in his outfits. And Adam had that little satin shirt on or whatever that was. I was like, go ahead, Adam. I was like, y'all looking cute over there. I like it. So we'll see Dewan next week. She'll be back next week. But in the meantime, we still have Auntea Landie. So thank you, boo.
Hey.
Save it.
And her mic is not crunchy this week.
You tried it, bitch. Jerrell be on time for once. You worry about that first.
Look, you know what? I know I be fronting, but I do love seeing your face, though. You know, I do.
I can't say the same.
You know, that's fine. That's fine.
Okay. No, I do. You know, I do.
I just be staying out of it. I'll be letting them go back and ping.
That wasn't the case last week, y'all. Man, I almost had to get out the gloves.
Funny. And it's so funny. Like, actually, I got to read this because a community member, and I'm going to call this community member out.
Do it.
Smithy is back. We ain't talked to Smithy in a minute. Smithy like fell off for a while. He stopped listening to us and all that stuff, I think. I don't know. But we get Michelle Williams back and she back in the comments. I'm like, okay, Smithy. But Smithy sent a message today, actually. And by the time this episode comes out, we'll probably put a post up just to see how the community feels. And in true Smithy's statement, he said that you should ask the community about queerbaiting. Then he goes, that imaginary line is blurred. Bad Bunny don't owe me shit. I don't know his journey. I'm like, okay. She said what she said. But yeah, listening back to that, I was like, dang, we hadn't had a little moment like that in a minute. So
yeah, it's been a minute.
Felt good.
Someone messaged me. They were like, it got tense for a little bit. I'm glad you was there. I was like, not me. Not me.
I was like, okay.
And funny thing is, here it is another week, and now they're saying Harry Styles is back gay baiting. They're trying to determine who's the biggest gay baiter. Because Harry Styles kissed, what's his face? I forget his name. They used to be in The League, that TV show, The League.
Is it Chris?
Like, oh, here's what's it? It's like something starts with a K, or last name maybe starts with a K. I can't think of it right now. I'll look it up here as we go on. But gave him a kiss at the movie premiere in Venice. They're like, oh, there goes Harry Styles gay baiting again. It is what it is. Let the man kiss who he wants to kiss. And here's the thing, like, I still feel like it says more for the people getting triggered by it, because it's just like, now you really looking for shit. Like, he's none of us. Except maybe the ones buying this album. But
speaking of, there's some story about Chris Pine. It says Chris Pine denies Harry Styles spit on him.
Oh, I saw that too. But I mean, I'd watch Harry Styles spit on Chris Pine. That's some OnlyFans. Again, that's the gay baiting I'm looking for.
Again,
that's some OnlyFans I'd pay for.
Honey,
shit. What won't you pay for?
I pay for you to be on time to this damn podcast. That's what I
It
would
was,
do.
first of all, it was 2 minutes.
No.
Beyond.
It was 4,
2
but that's
minutes.
okay.
No, actually,
Thank
it
you,
said
Kerel.
5:32.
It was
Thank you,
8. It was 8.
No,
It was
It said
8:33. So maybe
5:32.
I'll split it in
said
half.
5:32 when I was typing in the things and I was on Zoom at 5:32. Now, how long it took to load up
Okay.
and set the password?
That
that's
Cricket
a whole
Wireless
thing.
Wi-Fi.
But I was on Zoom.com at 5:32.
But what time is the recording at?
5:30. I said 2
Okay.
minutes. I said 2 minutes.
He said
That's a
5:30.
5-minute grace period. Okay, every nigga know you get 5 minutes to be late. You get a 5-minute window.
Locking.
Doug, locking all the way off. He said 5:32. What time we supposed to be here?
She said,
5:30, but
she said, every nigga know you got 5 minutes.
And look,
Yo, that is I need that on a t-shirt right now. A minority report. A minority report.
we got a new Labuticus verse.
Merch.
Every nigga know you got 5-minute grace period.
Wow. Yo, that needs to be on some minority report merch.
That's a new Labuticus verse. Let's write that shit down. Labuticus. Oh, Lord. But hopefully, community, you're doing well. Subscribe if you haven't already, please. We're trying to get up our YouTube numbers, so if you haven't subscribed over there, please do so. Hit the bell button, all that stuff. All whatever the Gen Zers and all them people be saying. You know the shit. Please do it. Landon. Okay, it's after Labor Day, boo. You know what's already out there. It's your favorite time of the year.
Okay, so just go ahead, finish what you got to say, and then I'm going to
Pumpkin
explain why I
spice
don't like
season,
it.
ho. Ooh, you heard that sigh?
So it's not so much the pumpkin spice, even though it's just like manufactured bullshit and sugar, but and for people to be basic about, but it's more about the commercialism. Like, y'all trying to push this shit in June and July. We just got out of winter. Like, god damn, can you just give a bitch a break? Like, y'all just so, and it's more about the commercialism and trying to get people to buy shit and just like buy shit as early as possible. Like, y'all bitches trying to start Christmas in February again? Like, goddamn.
I literally just saw some Christmas trees in Costco.
Oh, I bet.
For real. A whole fact. Like, damn. So it's not so much the pumpkin spice, but it's all these, white bitches that are out here trying to just push it in people's faces. In July, we just celebrated Independence Day. Can you give a bitch a break?
I know. Do you like pumpkin spice flavoring?
Oh, hell no.
Okay.
No, but it's, again,
So
it's
that's the part B of it. The part B is
really
like, and I don't even like the taste
is.
of it.
It really is. I think, and it's funny when you sent the topic list, in my mind, it was like, there's another reason why I don't like pumpkin spice. And it was fresh out of undergrad. I was an assistant manager for Starbucks for a little bit. So, it just bring back some traumatic memories of just
some Karens wanting their pumpkin spice.
Yeah. Like, damn, like we just got to summer. For all of us that live in states where it's like a little bit colder during the winter, basic bitches in Texas, y'all ain't got to worry about that. But some of us here in the Northeast and in the Northwest can just give a bitch a break. I mean,
that's what I honestly don't even know if I've really had pumpkin spice anything.
But
like I don't I don't seek it out. And I'm not a coffee drinker, so I don't go I'm not out there getting coffee like that. And then now they got the pumpkin spice Cheerios and the pumpkin spice this and that. It's not like maybe a flavor but I guess I like cinnamon and nutmeg and stuff. I guess it's just like I just don't look for it. I guess I'm not checking for it. So I don't even know really what the hoopla is about. If I'm gonna do anything for fall, it's gonna be like apple shit. Like, let me get some apple pie and whatever,
these bitches are not out here pumpkin
pie.
picking. You're apple picking. Are you really picking for pumpkins? Are you though? So I'm just not a fan of. And now it's because
that's the orchard I like to go to. I feel like over time I've had to overplay that part, of my being for this podcast. But the more I speak on it, the more I'm like,
No,
Because
no,
I saw your comment to Michelle too, talking about not the peaches and the tangerines.
She said that took me out. She's like,
but I love that was a part you got. I was like, she would.
It was so funny. She's like, I'm down here in Atlanta. I might not got a peach, but I got a tangerine or something. That shit took me out. Took me all the way out. What up, Michelle?
But now that we got pumpkin spice paint, we got pumpkin spice pencils, we got pumpkin spice blankets. Like, goddamn, like, just stick to one thing and just ruin our lives for a few weeks with that instead of everything else.
What about if it was like pumpkin spice lube? Would you do that?
No, I don't want that. No, I don't want that. No.
Well, who had the pumpkin spice poppers?
Oh yeah, I seen that. Was it Issa? I think it was Issa. Yes, that's what she took a picture of it.
She's like, look what I got. I was like, ooh, you know what? Let me sniff it though.
Now that I might have to make an exception because
I know that's right. Oh man, but. I mean, today was probably the first day that it started to kind of, well, I mean, there's been hints of it. There's been hints of it at night where the humidity is starting to go away. You're like, oh, okay, here comes that fall. And this is going to be my first fall back in kind of like a cold area.
That's right.
We'll see how it goes. Like,
I wore a hoodie all day today.
Did you really? Mm-hmm. Is that cold out there?
What?
No.
But it's just like kind of say, oh, he said no. Like, no, bitch, it's 89.
Let me tell you, like, it literally was like 82 degrees today.
Ooh,
But like, I'm in the office. It's cold in the office. So I wear a hoodie. And then like everywhere I walk is in the shade. It's a lot cooler in the shade. So it's not like I'm ever actually hot. So September, like football, volleyball season comes around, and I just want to be in a hoodie.
I love a good hoodie moment.
I love a good hoodie.
I love to be in a hoodie with my drawers on. Walking around like,
oh,
yep.
Lord.
Mm-hmm. That's my favorite time.
Sweatshirt with my panties on. Got my sweatshirt and my panties on. I know that's right.
So wait, when does it like start to get like colder in Seattle?
I mean, like at nighttime, it'll be like in the 50s already.
God.
Yeah.
So yeah, like it'd be jumping like 30 degrees. It'll be like in the 50s.
Jumping.
And then like it'll be in the like 80s come like noon, like 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
So you leave in the morning and it's
still
too cold.
a bit too warm to be wearing a sweatshirt. I need it to be like 60. Yeah.
But see, that's how cold it'd be in the morning. When I take the bus to work, it'll literally be like 58, maybe 60 degrees outside. So like I'm not trying to get sick, so I have to wear a hoodie when I'm commuting. But then I'm in a cold, literally 60 degree room all day. So
that remind me when your mama used to tell you to wear a hat. Wear a hat before you catch cold.
Catch cold.
Yeah,
Not even catch a cold, but catch cold.
Catch a cold.
How you catch cold?
How you catch a cold?
But you knew what they were talking about.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'd be like, yes, ma'am. I'd be like, yes, ma'am. And I'd be wearing that hat out the house, but I take that shit off as soon as I get to school.
My mom would be like, and your butt going to school if you get sick.
Yeah.
That's what she would say.
Yeah.
Like, you stay in your butt at school if you get sick.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay.
Knowing damn well that's not the right thing to do.
Right.
It is
Okay.
what it is,
Yeah.
Back then, I was trying to get them waves. Like, well, for a while, I had the waves, and then I started growing my hair and get cornrows. So I didn't want to put no hat on to mess up my hair.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be fly, ma. And before we get to September 15th through October 15th is Hispanic Heritage Month. So, hey, stand up, So, representing for our Hispanic brothers and sisters and people. So yeah, if there's anything you guys want to send in to let us know, to read on air, let us know. We'll represent it. If there's some program that you're doing during the month to get the word out there, let us know. We'll get it out there for you as best as we can. So
just I did a little bit of research about National Hispanic Heritage Month, and September 15th is, just reading it verbatim from this website, actually government website, HispanicHeritageMonth.gov.
Okay.
The day of September 15th is significant because it is the anniversary of independence for Latin American countries, Costa Rica, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, and Nicaragua.
Hey.
So, in addition, Mexico and Chile celebrate their independence days on September 16th. And on the 18th, Dia de la Resa, which is on October 12th, which falls in that 30-day period. I didn't want to say Columbus Day because I know Jerrell feels a certain way about me saying that. Where everybody felt. Well, I said something.
That's the independence they try to get from.
Wait. Let me explain. So I said I was talking about possibly coming out to visit Fizz, and I was just like.
Caught it, bitch.
Got it.
And I go, oh, this weekend, Columbus Day weekend, whatever. And I was just typing, and he goes, what weekend? What weekend?
What weekend?
So I was like, all right. I wasn't even, but anyway, so that's why I didn't say that. So going back to National Hispanic Heritage Month, apparently there's just a lot of independence anniversaries centered around mid-September. So interesting. It's not necessarily just the beginning of September, but middle of September is when a lot of these countries celebrate their independence.
Love it. Stand up. Hey,
that's awesome.
Hey, and if y'all partying, let us know.
Let us know. We be there. Yay.
I mean, I'm gonna stay my ass at home. I'm just gonna root for y'all.
Root for from afar.
Everything ain't for everybody. So that's that's y'all moment.
That's true. But if you want
to
invite
February, because I know when February come around, I'll be the first person to be like, "Stay your ass ain't home and ain't for you." So I'm gonna do the same thing. Take my advice and set this one out and be like, "Y'all turn up,
turn up all the way up."
I'm rooting for you. I'm rooting for you. That's Jerrell, right? I'm rooting for you guys.
I know that's right.
Hey. Oh man. So I mean, the last few weeks. So last week we were kind of watching. We were on like Serena watch. So like we were just like, okay, we're getting in and out of the episode.
Yay,
so
sports.
There's a lot of U.S. Open. Serena is evolved now. She put up a good fight for a couple rounds there. That third round was a great match, by the way. And I was actually there outside of Arthur Ashe, and that was one of like the most incredible just scenes I've ever seen in my life and been a part of. To see that many people rooting for one human being and so invested emotionally was incredible. Like when they wanted to be quiet, like when she was like hitting it, everyone was like kind of rooting her, but then like there was moments where it was just like quiet. And then there's times it's just like hoopla. And then when she lost and she's talking about Venus, everybody's like crying. Like it was incredible. It was incredible to be a part of that and be there for her last tournament. And then now Coco Gauff's playing while we're watching or while we're recording now, and we're like, dang, come on, Coco. Garcia playing her ass off, but you got to beat this girl.
Yeah. All I want to say is fuck Margaret Court. And we can move on.
That part of it. And the reason why we've said it over time, the reason why we wanted Serena to get 24 at least was to shut Margaret up. And Margaret ass still popped up.
Still popped up. I read that article that about her interview, and I literally I've never wanted to reach through a piece of technology and slap somebody so fast in a while.
There's just some people that are very oblivious.
Yes. Well, and the fact being that like she was like saying shit like, well, we're taught as tennis players to respect our opponents, and the fact that she didn't mention her, like during her like goodbye and stuff like that. I'm like, bitch, you're missing the moment. Like she is done. Like
is she white?
That girl going down, and she white.
Ah, shocker.
She's Australian, and she's very homophobic as well. So like even like the greats like Martina Navratilova don't like the girl because of just statements she's made over time. That's why nobody acknowledges her. Like
it's quite something. It's quite something. I've been reading about Serena and some of the and some Facebook posts, which I don't give to the idiots on Facebook, but there are some people that just want to hate, and it's like the white people are gonna find any reason to hate on Serena. You wanna talk about, oh, she didn't apologize a couple of years ago. I know plenty of white folks that haven't apologized for the shit they've done. So y'all need to go to them over there.
That part.
So it really bothers it just really, like, I saw one post where, oh, it was, she yelled at the referee. Okay, at what point in your professional career did you not get pissed at the referee? Oh, you don't have a professional career. That's right. Damn. So you don't know what it feels like.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, we got two Auntie Henny's energies. If y'all haven't caught over time, Landie got that same kind of energy.
But she 100% right though. But this is why we're going to miss Serena.
Yes.
You know, because of the fact that, like, this is why we, representation matters.
Yep.
You know, and I'll be rooting for everybody Black going forward.
Yep.
You know, just
and
TFO, Francis TFO.
Yeah,
Come
Big
on.
Fo. That's another moment Smithy said today in the comments. He said, "Oh, y'all only rooting for Black women." I'm like, shut up, Smithy. Smithy be trolling us.
He really do.
It's like, no, we like Big Fo too, but he just finally stuffed his pussy up. That's what he finally just did.
But I love the ownership he took though when he said, like, earlier, like, I just wasn't in a mental space to handle the pressure.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm just keeping my head down. I'm just enjoying it. And I was like, come on, Black man, talk about mental health and growth and, like, accountability and vulnerability.
Yeah, he said he was just not mature enough. Yeah.
I was like, we love to see it. We love to see it.
Really quick, I have to read this part since we were talking about whatever the fuck her name is, Margaret Court.
Oh, no.
There are people who say I'm not the greatest of all time because I didn't pass her Grand Slam title. Quote, I'm not really thinking about her. If I'm in a Grand Slam final, then yes, I'm thinking about that record. But maybe I thought about it too much. And this is the part that really I just love. I should have 30 plus Grand Slams. I had my chances after coming back from giving birth. I went from a C-section to a second pulmonary embolism to a Grand Slam final, etc. I didn't get there. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. I didn't show up the way that I should have or could have, but I showed up 23 times, and that's fine. Actually, it's extraordinary. But these days, if I have to choose between building my tennis resume and building my family, I choose the latter. You better fucking preach, Serena.
And that's the part that really because I knew Margaret was going to come out and say some bullshit.
Yeah.
Margaret was talking about, she's like, oh, I had 2 kids and this and that. I came back and won it. And I was just like, you're just so oblivious to how you're coming across. And the it's statements like that just come across so fucking privileged, that why people don't want to acknowledge yourself, and why they say 24 Grand Slams is overall, including the amateur area, and not just like the open area, because they don't want to give you credit because you stink. Like, people, like, if you weren't this stink, people would be like, okay, Margaret, you're the greatest of all time. You got 24. Numbers are numbers. But since you are just so stank about everything, nobody wants to acknowledge yourself. So go and sit down somewhere. Go sit in your stadium. They named the court after you, Australia Open. Cool. Go sit in that stadium and have several seats, please, because...
Take your 80-year-old ass down to a seat.
Seriously. It's like, why would you want to, like, cut down another woman like that and say, well, I had 2 babies. And that is just so stank. It is, exactly. And if you came to see it, you got to watch this part on YouTube. Jerrell pointing at the skin tone. But it's just like, and so that's that shit. Like, everything else, I was like, okay, it sounds like what Margaret been saying all the time. Like, she just stanky. That part, I was like, that's a whole new level.
It cracks me up where Margaret Court said, I admire Serena Williams, but she has never admired me. That's some privileged bullshit. Like, why couldn't you just say, I admire Serena. I admire Serena Williams, period. Why does there have to be a but? Because you feel, because of who you are and your skin color, that you're due some sort of recognition and admiration. Girl, bye.
And if you truly admired her, you wouldn't have said any of the shit that you said.
You wouldn't have said shit.
That part of it.
That's
there's so many other great players that have said amazing things that did not diminish their own greatness just because they said it. So now you still feeling a sort of way. That's why you said it. You feel like you ain't great. So go and deal with yourself.
Like Niecy Nash said, white folks is crazy.
Oh, Lord. So by the time this episode comes out, we'll know who the U.S. Open champ is. Coco just lost to Garcia. So, but Coco, she's 18. She has plenty of time to continue to grow and mature. She's looking great. She's learning. You could tell she's learning by every loss that she gets. So she'll get in there quick soon enough. So
she'll get there eventually. She's the youngest American woman to make it since 1998. Since Serena. So like
she'll be all right.
She'll be all right.
She'll be all right. So, and speaking of more sports though, then this is just craziness. Like in 2022, still dealing with the N-word at these fucking sporting events. So we wanted to talk about this last week and we just ran out of time. So last week, literally when we were recording, it was kind of blowing up, where a Duke starting player on the women's volleyball team there, playing against BYU, which we all know is a predominantly white school. It's literally owned by Church of Latter-day Saints, which is a predominantly white
not a real church, but just gonna.
I mean, I'm not gonna say all that because there might be people that are part of it, etc. So I'm not gonna diminish somebody's religion. But what I am gonna say is, them students and those people that are going to watch that game clearly feel comfortable enough in that environment to say this to people, and it's fucking ridiculous. And the AD in that statement that they put out was not enough. The wording was not strong enough, and it still left a room for this to continue. And I feel like BYU feels like, well, it's just one person, one bad apple. No, they felt comfortable in your house to do so.
But
so
here's the first
time. There's an aura in that facility that they feel they could get away with this shit.
Well, there was also an image about a time where Logan Eggleston, the star outside hitter for Texas Longhorn volleyball, was serving, and there's clearly this white man, like yelling at her. And there's been talks of times, even when they played at BYU, of other players experiencing similar situations as well too. And like to what you were saying, Kerel, like if fans are feeling that comfortable to say that reflects on the school. 1000%. That means the school is not doing enough to protect people and to shut that type of stuff down. And I agree with you 100%. That press that they put out there was trash.
Bullshit.
And the fact that the coach could even be bothered to show up to the meeting with the girl too afterwards, like says even fucking more about the program too. So the whole volleyball community, I love this too, has really been standing up behind this Duke player. And literally everyone's like, fuck BYU. Like no one wants BYU. Like they're about to be the most hated team that go anywhere.
Yeah.
Like don't nobody want to play them. Don't nobody want to see them. We'll be rooting for them.
Today, like the day we're recording, South Carolina basketball women. So Don Steely, I love her.
Yeah.
Saying they're not playing them. That's a whole other sport. So it's the trickle down effect. And I know there's going to be some privileged people that say, well, my kid didn't say it, and my kid ain't even playing volleyball, and my kid this. Fuck that.
Your kid should have went to a different school. How about
and your kid should have stopped it. That's what your kid should have done. If you on that volleyball team, you heard this shit, say, nope, time out. Like, I'm hearing this shit, and I don't rock with this. I don't.
Just because you are not the one committing the offense doesn't mean that you can't speak up and be in a space where like, hey, this is wrong. Just because it's not you yelling that N-word and saying those things, you are just as wrong when you don't speak up in those moments.
Period.
And what? Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
And I know we said we weren't, and I don't believe in attacking anybody's religion, but this really goes down to a deeper issue of racism and white supremacy has been a part of the Mormon church for a very long time. And
it's been a part of every church for
of course it has. Of course it has. But what I know of that particular denomination, et cetera, this goes back a long way. This goes back a long way.
And what it is just like white folks over time have literally been able to weaponize God for what they want it to be.
You better preach, Pastor.
And that's what now is just still so dangerous. In all the political seasons we've seen, we see it time and time again of them hiding behind the veil. And I know God looking down there like, no, but he probably won't say no ho. Like, that ain't what I said, and that's not what I was doing. Bro,
that's not what I mean. And that's not what I mean.
He get tired.
Right. Who gonna check me?
She by Sheen, by the way.
Right.
That was a whole tangent, but that shit cracking me up right now on the internet. But yeah, like, so again, like, and I'm glad that she's been able to kind of hold her own, because she could have had all the right in the world to like snap back, but she knows what that perception unfortunately will do to the whole narrative. Mm-hmm. So every interview she's been in, she's been so cool, calm, and collected in getting her point across. And so mad props to her, because she could have went up there and threw hands. Mm-hmm. And we would have been like, okay, it is what it is.
Yeah.
But she knew what that perception of the angry black woman would have done, and it would have shifted the wrong to her and not to the people that were literally doing this and felt comfortable to do this. To a young black female at that. Like, mm-hmm. Come on, she's not that old.
I mean, let's be honest, some of these players are still children, okay? Like 19 years old, you still can't even fucking drink. Like, no. We have to remind people that, athletes are people too. And we got to get rid of this notion that because they're an athlete, they can't feel, hatred from fans, and that stuff can't bother them. Like, just because they were blessed with the talent, to be great and at something doesn't mean that they can't still feel emotions, right. just like the rest of us.
Just emotions.
So, I don't know. I'll be over it.
And Kerel, as we were, I was trying to see an update about, this whole situation. There's a situation in Texas where a high school volleyball team, there was some sort of incident where multiple people were using racial slurs, and it's like, wow, you bitches couldn't wait like a little bit to pass by before you decided to be racist again. Man. Like y'all just could, y'all just like didn't realize.
Pumpkin spice season was really in full effect.
Like y'all couldn't be like, you know what? The white folks out there, we was racist a few days ago, so maybe we should just give it a day or two.
Let's have several
and
seats.
Then let's just sit down and and then you know what? You decided not to give it any more time. Like, mm-hmm. You obviously know that this is a thing, and why would you repeat that behavior?
Mm-hmm. But it's funny though too, because I've talked about the racism in volleyball for a while, mm-hmm. and really only players really know about the racism, because in the sport, most often when you see a black player, the position that they're playing is middle. Mm-hmm. Because what they do is they say, oh, let's take the athletic person, the most athletic person, which needs to be a middle, okay, because of how much you need to work that net. Yep. And let's put the black person, the most athletic person on the team in middle, and not give them any opportunity to grow any other aspects of their development. And often you would see, even at the club level and high school level, the moment a black child would try to go into a different position, they get looked over. They don't get the development and the time that they should to learn how to pass, to learn how to be serve receive, to learn how to do anything other. They like to pigeonhole black folks into just being one type of person as a player. And that's why I love seeing players like Jordan Thompson on the Olympics, who was the star right side player who been thumping the fuck out of the ball as a black woman who's a fucking star of the U.S. women's Olympic team. I like seeing Logan Eggleston, who is probably going to be the player of the fucking year this year. Stephanie should have been the player from Minnesota last year, but they gave it to a white girl over her instead, who didn't do nearly as much in the final and didn't even carry the whole team all fucking season. And it should have gone to a black girl, but who did they give it to? The little taller white girl over there. So there has already been this level of racism inside volleyball, and I love that it's finally coming to the light, because people have been saying, no, like volleyball is so loving, it's done so much for me. I'm like, yeah, bitch, it's done the same to me, but it's also been an asshole to me too.
Yeah. Speak on it. So
wow.
So we'll see how this continues to play out. We'll see how the rest of the season plays out, honestly. We'll see how it falls into other sports. We're starting to see it already fall into other sports where teams just don't want to play BYU, and rightfully so. It's like, nope. I don't feel comfortable playing them. I don't feel comfortable going there. And you know they're going to protect their own over there. So, you know what? Let me do the grown-up thing and stay my ass at home. I ain't going over there. I ain't doing it because y'all have proven you don't care about folks that look like me. So, oh Lord. What else? Oh, we were going to talk about this last week too. We didn't get to it. How was the Weeknd concert? Because I saw he just canceled the other concert, said he couldn't sing no more.
Look, let me tell you. It makes sense.
He sounded like Case. I can't sing no more. Can't sing no more, baby. Yeah.
Whatever happened to Case? Where is he?
I know that was a dope ass song. He had some bops for a moment.
He had some bops. Anyway,
I would say, like, to hear him saying that he lost his voice, I was like, nigga, it makes sense. Like, you were singing your face off. I don't know how you did a whole tour like this. Yeah. I mean, he sounded just like his fucking album. Okay. And he has a very unique voice too. Yeah. And to be that good and perform night after night.
Was it better than the Super Bowl?
It was better than the Super Bowl.
Okay, because I didn't like the Super Bowl.
I'm about to paint a picture.
No.
I didn't like his Super Bowl performance either. And actually, that did him no justice at all whatsoever. Because that's what I was thinking going in. I was like, I don't know how I feel about this. Close to Beyonce. That's how fucking good it was. It was that fucking good. The next best thing for me is a formation tour.
Okay.
And then it's him, and it's everything. It's the Carter tour. It's Adele. Everyone followed. He did so motherfucking good. Yeah. And he sang live the whole time. Was no auto-tune, no nothing. He had no background vocals. He had a track that went with him. Yeah. He put most of his money into the production, and the motherfucker performed his ass off.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
All right.
People were talking about, like, I live half a mile away from the stadium, and I can hear his music. From there.
That shit was thumping.
Okay. I'm telling you, he had the pirate look. We were a ways away. I was still feeling the flames.
Okay, we can play with Michael Jackson territory if you want to. Get that hair caught on fire.
For a second, I was wondering how the hell he doing this, because it must be hot. It must be hot.
Yeah,
but okay. We paid like $200 like a ticket.
Yeah.
I would happily play, and that wasn't even on the floor. I would pay to be on the floor and see him perform.
Okay, that's good to know, because I've never had a strong desire to see him. I love his music. Love his music. I think he's very brilliant at finding a way to do him at a pop level. Yeah. You know, he made a distinct decision after his first kind of mixtapes. He's like, I'm going to go pop, but I'm still going to make it the Weeknd. And he found that happy medium. And I love it. I love when artists are still able to do the masses, but still sneak in what they need to do and get their artistic ability out of them. Okay.
It was good. And everyone was standing the whole entire time. The whole stadium was full. There wasn't an open seat at all anywhere.
Where did he perform at?
He performed at the where the Seahawks play. So
also it was a stadium tour.
It was a stadium.
They're just doing stadiums. Good for him.
So was it the best concert you've been to, or
no,
like
said
second
Formation?
ranked?
No, I said Formation. Beyonce up here, still up here.
I'm just making sure.
I was crying afterwards in tears, and went to Chicago 3 days later to see her in Chicago. Like
Formation was a different thing.
She just deceased. Yeah. Deceased. But after Formation, he is my number 2. And I've seen a lot of people perform. Yeah. I mean, and Jasmine was up there too, and she wasn't even in the stadium, but she gave vocals.
Yeah. Weeknd.
This motherfucker did his damn.
Because
I clap for the brother, and I'm not a Weeknd fan. Fizz is,
yeah,
and that's why we got the tickets, because we were like, oh, let's do this for your birthday, because we don't like to celebrate his birthday. But he loved the Weeknd. He can sing every Weeknd song, word for word. Fizz be sitting there.
Fizz panties get wet for the Weeknd. Go ahead, Fizz.
Because I remember when you was not feeling him for Super Bowl. So this wasn't it. I didn't have an opinion about Super Bowl because I guess I didn't know his capacity, like what he was the best he could do. So I thought it was okay. As far as the singing was concerned, I didn't like everything else. So to hear you say that, I was like, oh, okay. Like, I'm thinking about, like, let me look at some of these tickets.
His tour almost done.
It's done. I think he's rescheduled for Toronto, like, in October or something like that.
Yeah.
We're going to do another show there, but I would recommend people to see the Weeknd.
Okay.
I would.
Well, that same weekend I went and saw GaGa for the first time.
She's a performer.
You know what? I'll give it to her. GaGa be cracking me up because GaGa isn't the best dancer, but she dances like she's the best dancer.
She sells it. She commits. She was like,
that should be cracking me up, but I be living my life. So she be dancing so fucking hard. And it be cracking me up. I feel I'm glad I saw GaGa. Was it my favorite concert? No. She sounded great. She sounded great. She was giving vocals. I was like, go ahead, GaGa. Show these bitches you can sing. Mm-hmm. You could tell that she crafted this tour around her chronic body pains, honestly. Mm-hmm. And so, like, for the first almost 20 minutes, she wasn't even really doing the routine. She kind of, like, was serving face in this circle.
Was she on the piano? Was she, like...
She did the piano for a while there, too. That was fire. I feel like GaGa, I mean, she's massive. I feel like GaGa would be so much better in a small setting because you could tell she likes connecting with people, and it's hard for her to connect when it's fucking 50,000 people. Yeah. And so she had a part when she's on the piano where she kind of came out more into the crowd. She had a second stage there, and that's where you're like, okay, this is fucking a superstar because she's connecting. She's in the moment, and this is that. And then, like, when she does her little routines and everything, I was still living. And it made me remember how actually good Chromatica was as an album. I forgot.
It got lost in the pandemic.
It got lost. I was doing other shit.
I mean, we still in the pandemic. Let's just put it out there.
1,000%.
But I think it got lost in the.
Because it came out like that February.
Yeah.
Like she started dropping the songs and we're like, oh yeah, okay, got back. Then COVID said, no ho, sit your asses down.
No ho.
Rain on me over there. But no, it was good. It was good. She sounded good. She gave us the little GaGa quirks and everything. So I was like, okay, that's dope. But if she ever did maybe Vegas again or a smaller venue, I would definitely want to see her because I feel like that's where she would probably shine even more so than like a huge stadium kind of thing. Yeah. Then it also reminded me that I'm not in Atlanta no more, and concerts hit different when you're in Atlanta versus everywhere else.
Because they look different.
Girl, and this was in Hershey, PA. It wasn't even in Philly.
What made you want to see her? What made you want to see her?
Well, Corey wanted to go see her. He's like, let's go see GaGa. Okay. So I was like, okay, for sure. And actually, I wanted to see her, but like I wasn't in a rush maybe to see her. I'm glad I saw her though. Yeah, very first time. So I'm glad I went for sure. Yeah, for sure. Especially at this point in time, because I feel there's certain people you got to catch them at certain peaks in their careers before they either like start downscaling maybe their career. Like a Janet, I would have loved to see Janet during like the All For You days. Like, because she was like,
could you imagine with them ass?
Janet, you know,
just be screaming when I bust out them ass, like, yes, bitch.
like Velvet Rope. That's when I would have ideally wanted to see Janet, that time period. Love seeing Janet now, but she's at the point in her career, she's getting older, and she's downscaling some of the staging and everything, because she's like, I'm about to spend all these coins. Y'all done see me 10 times.
Yeah.
You know? So I feel like Chromatica might be, and I don't know, maybe she has another huge one in her, but like, pause. But but another tour of this level again. But I feel like she might start doing other stuff. And at least this is still like GaGa level, where you're like, okay, I caught GaGa when GaGa was in her prime, kind of thing.
I don't think she'll be fading out anytime soon, really.
I feel like she might do like another residency. I'm sure this like taxes her body so crazy. Like she was saying on stage, she's like, I honestly didn't think I was gonna do another tour like this. She's like, I didn't think my body was gonna be able to. She's like, not because you guys wouldn't show up, because I don't think I was gonna be able to show up. She's like, my body. She's like, my body's my body. And so when she was saying that even live, I was like, damn, is she telling us this might be the last one of this scale, and then she's just gonna find another way to scale it back down again? I don't know. But
that's interesting, because like I remember like just even like a couple years ago when her documentary came out, and she talked about like just how much music saved her and how much she loves music. And I think that's, to your point, I think that's why she went like with the whole Tony Bennett way and you know, like still found an avenue to put music out. But I see what you're saying. Maybe she won't do like a big,
I don't think she's gonna do like another stadium tour like this again.
Yeah, but I know she'll still give us bangers. I know she'll still give us definitely GaGa. But I would say I was not a GaGa fan until I actually saw her live. I was just like, there's no way that this bitch sounds like this and she's doing all this. There's a lot of energy. I'm tight. And when I went and saw her on the Art tour, I was like, oh, bitch, fuck it up.
Oh yeah,
it was art pop. It was art pop, because I didn't start to get into, like, I loved her, not Just Dance, but the one was Monster Ball or Fame Monster or whatever it was called. Yeah. That album, I was like, okay, I really like her. And even though art pop, you know, was art flop,
I thought it was a decent album.
I thought it was.
I liked it. I liked it. I know that it didn't necessarily get the airplay and some of the, you know, popular bangers that you know we get now, but I was like, oh, okay,
it was better than Joanne.
Sure was.
It sure was.
Sure was.
Yeah.
Even though Perfect Illusion is one of my favorite GaGa songs.
Which one? I'm sorry.
Perfect Illusion.
Perfect Illusion, and it's from the Joanne album. I you know, I love a good key change. I thought it was the happy medium of her wanting to be more artsy and still like the pop shit that we want. I always say we want the meat dress GaGa.
Yeah.
And I felt that was a good representation, but it just didn't blow up. But like even now, I mean, like, she has forever songs. She has like the Just Dances and Poker Faces and Bad Romance, and Shallow is a forever song. Like, people are gonna be singing that song for the rest of humanity in karaoke. And you like, it just reminded you GaGa's a fucking massive star. But she just still had that little white girl dance moments where I'm like, go ahead, GaGa. you dancing so hard.
It reminds me of like, you know how black folks get around with that one white person, like, go white boy, go white boy, go white boy.
That's exactly what it is.
Like, guys, I'm hitting it. She sells the shit out of it like that, where you know she's slightly off, but she is selling the fuck out of it. She's like, I'm gonna give you.
I'm rocking with you all day, GaGa. Because you dancing so fucking hard.
That shit is so funny.
And literally,
that shit is so funny.
Like
it's so true though. Like, I kept looking at Corey cracking up because I was just like, GaGa's dancing so fucking hard up there. Go ahead, girl. Go ahead.
I appreciate that she has helped white people dream that they can dance again.
Right.
Let me tell you, because white people will fuck up some Britney choreography, which ain't dancing, and they will fuck up some Lady Gaga choreography. In a hot minute, they will tell you,
let that rain
on me. Start bouncing up and down.
I was tired.
Bitch,
sis.
They will swear they're dancing, bitch.
Yo, wait. So wait, it's funny that you bring that up, because I went to a wedding a couple of months ago, and just
was
a lot of white folks. No, it wasn't. No, I'm 0 for 2 there, and And
Third
so
time's
thank
a
God.
charm.
Come on, security free throws.
Get your shit together. You know who. I'm not going to put it out there. You already know what your name is.
Ooh, damn.
And so I went to this wedding, and it was predominantly white, and it was a cover band, so they were doing like Beyonce songs, and
you know, white weddings with a cover band, they be fucking that shit up.
And they didn't though. That was the thing.
Damn.
I was like, and then someone's like, "Oh, you should join them." I was like, "No, it's gonna be real obvious." Yeah. So it's funny you mentioned that because I was like, I've been there. Yeah.
Yeah, that GaGa. No, but I'm glad I saw her. I'm not itching to see her in that kind of setting, and it might just been Hershey, PA. I think I would have felt different if I saw her in Atlanta or Chicago, anywhere else. Honestly, it was just Hershey, PA was different. I felt like I was in Middle America.
Did it smell like chocolate?
No. It was weird. No, but
she was the like, chocolate.
It smelled like racism and privilege.
It was the only Hershey in Hershey, okay?
Honey, it was a speck of pepper and a sea of salt. I was like, Corey, where are the I was like, we ain't in Atlanta no more. I was like, where are we at?
She said, my exes are here, here, and here. Like she was ready.
Like, oh my Lord. So I told her, I was like, when Beyonce dropped this concert, we are not watching her in Hershey, PA. It better be in Philly or we flying back to Atlanta. Like, I'm not doing it here.
I need to be with the niggas. I need to be with the niggas.
Seriously, I was like, I'm not doing it.
Negro spirituals. Like, I need to.
Honey, I'm not doing it. He's like, I agree. He's like, you're right.
Not the Negro spirituals, though.
Atlanta and Beyonce hit different, especially this album. Ooh, I gotta go to Atlanta.
I will go to Houston. I will go to Houston and see her.
Yep, Houston would be another.
You know she won't.
And that's saying a lot because Houston ain't all that. So that's saying a lot.
But she always give love to Houston.
She does.
Yeah, she does. Houston and Atlanta, and it's probably gonna be Atlanta. It's just different.
Yeah.
It's just too black and queer.
That is a concert. I was talking to my sister. She came to my sister came down to visit a couple of weeks.
I like
last weekend.
That top she had on too, by the way. She was cute. And then she turned around and gave the jean shorts.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay.
Yes.
We were talking about this album. We were talking about this album and how it's just like so different than everybody else. And in my mind, I was like, I would go it's been a while since I've been to a really good concert. That's a concert I would go to. I'll charge at this Amex real quick to go see Beyonce, child.
I'm seeing this a couple times. I'm going to see this concert a couple times.
Yeah.
Like,
okay, I might have to start a GoFundMe in order to do it a couple of times.
I'm about to start this OnlyFans right quick.
I got a nigga in college. He's got. Let me tell you, I got a nigga in college.
I got some heat right here. Look, take some pictures, bitch.
Honey, I got enough underwear. I will sell my used underwear. Go ahead and slip them hoes. Okay.
Listen. I got a nigga in college. I'll start a GoFundMe if I need to. Okay, real quick.
I'm just saying, but all right, you know what? Come in. We're gonna take a quick little tea break. We'll be right back. We interrupt this episode for very important information.
That's right. You've been asking for it for a long time, and we have heard you.
Yep, it's been a long time coming, but it's finally here.
Yo
Aunteas
got merch! Hey! That's right. You know what? We got tees, we got long tees, we got sweatshirts, we got fanny packs, there's just a whole gamut of stuff out there, so go and check that out.
We are so appreciative of your love and support, and we are so excited to launch it. Girl, where can we find it at?
Ma'am, they can head right over to minorityareport.com to check out the selection.
That's right. That's MINORITEA report.com.
Woo! I'm about to go get me some myself. What time is it? Ask your
Aunteas.
Okay, let's see. And this one came in hot off the presses, so we moved this up in the queue because it's going on right now. So it says, hey, aunties, are Chris Rock and Dave Chappelle doing too much? We know that the slap was wrong, but this post-slap tour tearing down another black man seems bitter. In particular, I think what Dave Chappelle said in the article and he sent us an article from CNN.com. It says, said in the article, which to me reads as, "You ain't nothing but a black guy from West Philly," is reductive and dismissive. We protect each other, especially the ones that made it out. So why are they trying to take that man back to that?
It's just niggas trying to stay relevant, honestly. Like, why they pressed at this point? Like, and I don't even know why. And I don't even know why Dave Chappelle got Will Smith's name in his own damn mouth, because he wasn't even there.
Well, I think because Dave Chappelle got attacked right after that, so I think he feels a way.
But there ain't gonna do
whatever.
I think that's what like some of the jokes were saying too. So,
but the point being that he's talking about someone else and their situation ain't got shit to do with him is some punk ass shit to me. Like, that's like, I don't even like Dave Chappelle.
Like, in question to that part of it, do you feel like, so say something happened to you? Would you expect Landon to be like, okay, I got a public forum too, I'm going to say something for my friend, or no?
But he's not saying something for his friend. He's talking shit about another person. That's not even the same thing. I would be okay if my friends are speaking up for me.
Yeah.
But to talk down or to tear somebody else down that ain't got shit to do with you is a completely different story. And that is what Dave Chappelle's doing. He's making his situation and trying to attach it to something that has nothing to do with him. And I'm not all right with that. Chris Rock, on the other hand, he can talk his shit because he was a part of the situation. So he has every right to feel however the fuck he wants to and say whatever the fuck he wants to, because that is what he felt on that side. That's the other side of the coin for him in that situation. But Dave Chappelle ain't got nothing in the game. He ain't got no skin in the game to be talking about Will Smith at all.
Listen, I don't like Jerrell at all. But at the end of the day, if something happens to him, I'm not going to make it about me, because that's my friend. And I want to show up the way that I need to show up for my friend. I'm not going to make it about me while I'm on a tour, while I'm on a podcast, while I'm on something, and make it about me and try to relate it to Jerrell. I'm not going to do that, because a real friend, you're going to back up. And sometimes that's necessary. Listen. I got bail money saved up for a reason, okay? But at the end of the day, I'm going to back up my friend and make it about them. That's what's wrong. That's kind of what's wrong with our society. We're ready to talk about how it affects us. And within the Black community, when we could be backing each other up and supporting each other, Dave Chappelle decided to make it about him. And like Jerrell said, you weren't even there. Your bitch ass wasn't even there, and you have shit to talk. It's kind of like going to a schoolyard fight and talking shit about the person who got their ass beat, and you weren't even there. Like, you weren't even there. Like, you may have seen it on TV, and that's one thing, but how does this really affect you? How does this really affect you?
Yeah, like, I mean, I think you guys pretty much nailed it. Like, and I know, like, from Dave Chappelle's point of view, his is like, okay, I wouldn't have got attempted to get jumped if Will Smith didn't run up a stage. So I think that's where his thought process is. Is it right? No. But am I surprised? No, because we've seen it not even just like from celebrities and stuff. We've seen it in our day-to-day life where, like, we've seen it in high school, we've seen it in schools where, like you said, folk that ain't got shit to do with it still talking. And so, like, that part of it, I'm not surprised. I think if anyone, like Jerrell said, has anything to say, it's got to be Chris Rock. Yes, it sucks to see two black men. I mean, Will Smith put everybody in that position, though. He's the one that slapped him on the Oscars, like one of the biggest nights on TV.
Why are we still talking about it?
But, I mean, for Chris Rock, I can't dictate how he's grieving, how he wants to handle it. If that's how he feel like he's handling it, that's on him. Is it the right way? Maybe not. But
what's the right way for him, though? What's the right way for him?
I don't know what the right way.
Whatever the best.
So it might be taken. Exactly. It might. And here's the thing: both Chris and Will are from the hood, and this is what they learned. So they're literally going back to that kid. We always talk about that childhood trauma and what you learn. Even as much therapy and stuff, you try to get away. Every once in a while, something triggers you and goes back to that reaction that you probably would have had as a kid. So they're both reacting in a way that they probably learned and saw growing up right now. So Chris makes his career from making jokes and making situations. So of course he's going to talk about it, especially because it happened to him. Yes, it might take Will back to West Philly. He might still feel a way now that he's still talking shit again, because that's why Will slapped him in the first place. He was talking shit, and now he's still talking shit. So it might re-escalate things again, which is not cool, which is not what we want. And yes, maybe Dave Chappelle sounding bitter. Chris might be sounding bitter. They all sounding bitter. But it sucks that they're in a public space, and they're just trying to manage it the best way they know how. And unfortunately, they're well-known people, and we're paying attention.
Yeah. It's easy to talk shit versus do shit, right? So when it comes down to Chris Rock and Will Smith, that's really, it happened in a public setting on TV live, but at the end of the day, when you get down to the humanity of it, they are going to have to figure that out. Dave Chappelle kind of coming into it is almost a little Karen-ish to me. Like, it just like inserting yourself into a situation that really didn't have anything to do with you. Now, if he feels a certain way about, I would have caught more flack, or I would not have been given so much grace. You know what? Not everything's about you, dude. Not everything is about you.
And I wonder if David just feels like this is the only way he knows how to stick up for his friend is, I'm going to use my arsenal. Like, I might not be able to throw hands. I might not be able to do this, but I know how to tell some jokes. I know how to be a comedian and do this. That's my lane. Which, in part of my brain kind of understands, because, like, I'm not a fighter. I ain't going to, like, I'm like the one, I'm going to fight dirty. I'm going to pull balls and clitorises. So
I'll do that and knock you out.
Right, And I'll probably use my words, and I'll find a way that I'll outsmart you and get your ass back. So maybe this is just Dave Chappelle's way of sticking up for his friend. Right, wrong, and indifferent. I don't know. Is it right? Probably not. It does make him sound bitter, yes, because it wasn't your fight to be in. But maybe that's what Chris is like. Hey, you my homeboy. Why aren't you saying shit? So I don't know. But yes, it sucks to see black men in a public space like this, because America's already trying to tear us down. So they're just probably pointing to them and saying, look, it's just these black men, I told you they ain't no good and stuff. And that's the part that sucks, because you just know the narrative that's going to come from it, from this one incident of your humanity. It was a bad moment in time. We all have bad moments in time. Luckily for us, we ain't did it on Oscar night, so. But.
Jerrell, you look like you was gonna say something earlier, and I just spit it out, sis.
I don't got nothing to say. I just don't fucking like Dave Chappelle. So
he never liked it.
I just to give two shits about his.
How are we friends? We fight so much, and yet here we are. I'm not a Dave Chappelle fan either.
That's because you start shit. I just be sitting there minding my business.
No, bitch. You start shit. I got witnesses. Let me go back to this other podcast where we talked about Palm Springs.
Oh, you right.
Go on.
Glenn will be like, in episode 79 at minute 32 and a half, you said.
So you want to explain to the community why I post what I posted today? Because your ass was talking shit, tagging me and shit. And I'm just on vacation.
What did I tag you in, though? What did I tag you in, though?
Send your Ask Yo Aunteas to aya@minoritetyreport.com. That's what you tagged them in and said, DM
exactly.
us. That's what you said. You said subscribe. You said follow us on YouTube.
I said hit that like button, bitch.
I know that's right. Double tap, ho.
Look, double tap.
Okay, share a bitch. Okay, share.
Absolutely. If you like us, share us on your stories. You don't got to keep us a secret. Like, you be sharing everybody else's stuff but ours.
And y'all be spilling all sorts of tea. Y'all can spill this tea right here.
Honey, come on. We funny. We just as funny as that shit you be posting on your stories. So go ahead and feel free to post your aunties. Thank you, boo. I love you. Oh, Lord. What else? Oh, you said you want to talk about like the quiet quitting stuff that's going on right now.
Yeah, so in case anyone has not heard about quiet quitting, there's this thing that's kind of going out with quiet quitting where everybody's talking about it. And in kind of just a quick summary, it's about like when someone in corporate America kind of just does their minimum job requirements and doesn't necessarily do all of the things that have become actually a part of corporate America, responding after 5 p.m., putting your out of office on, but you still checking your emails. Props to Dewan, because he was just like, I'm done. That's it. That's a wrap. Avoiding non-mandatory meetings, things like that. And
not
so
going like above and beyond the job description anymore.
Right. And so I think leading to the pandemic, I think during the pandemic, people realized like, wow, this company don't give a shit about me. They're willing to put me in harm's way to catch this possibly deadly disease, and they don't give a fuck about me. And so for a very long time, companies have been just getting away with putting these expectations on employees to do more than what they are paid for and not paying them for that extra work.
Yeah, look, I struggle, and I kind of learned that lesson from my
I was about to say, you was just doing 2 worlds, girl.
I've learned my lesson, but I haven't learned my lesson. Because I got laid off of my first corporate job after 13 years, after traveling all like crazy. They worked me like a dog, and I was willing to be worked like a dog because I thought I was elevating in my career, and
that's the thing.
But then at the end of the day, you realize a new regime could come into lead and don't know nothing about your career trajectory, nothing, and all they see is a bottom line. They got to get rid of X amount of people, and you cost too much. And so I learned my lesson then for how I was going to navigate the rest of my career. Yes, I want to succeed. Yes, I want to be good at what I do. Yes, I want to enjoy what I do. But those late nights of answering shit after like a certain time, I'm not doing it anymore because you realize, there's not much that you could get done at like 8 o'clock at night that's not going to be able to last until tomorrow. Like you ain't shipping nothing, we ain't selling nothing else, we ain't doing no more PowerPoints,
feeling that urge to do something because it comes across your desk,
right? Because you think the perception is, oh, Kerel's a hard worker. No, I'm gonna work my butt off from this time to this time, and after that, it's my time to do what I want to do with my spare time. This company does not own me past a certain hour unless you want to pay me additionally. Then I get to decide, yes, I want to accept that salary or whatever it may be, and now I will do these additional responsibilities or not. And if I decide not, that's okay as well. And that has never been the culture. And I think since COVID, it's allowed people to really step back and be like, hold on. Like, we might have more say than we thought we did. And this is what I need my life to be, because at the end of the day, it's my life. You know?
Well,
and yes, it doesn't mean that sometimes you might have to do more because you know something important and you want it to look good, blah, blah, blah. That's not saying that. But the habitual nature of constantly working to 9 p.m. at night, and you hear your phone going off and you felt like you got to answer your boss and that, not doing it. And you'll find if you set that precedent from the get-go, they won't do it to you as much. Like, literally, that's the one thing I learned this time. I was like, I don't be answering. I'm going to answer that thing first thing in the morning. Or I might answer and set it in your email and say, okay, send it at 7:45 a.m., you're not going to get the habitual nature of seeing Kerel is actually on his phone answering an email at 9 p.m. Not doing it anymore. And I think that's where some of that quiet quitting energy is stemming from, especially with Gen Zers.
Well, the problem with quiet quitting, so now that we've talked about it, let's talk about what it actually is.
Yeah.
Employees are no longer allowing this, what we call wage theft, in what you have just described, responding past 5 p.m. at 9 p.m. Employees after this, we're still in the pandemic. Let's just put it out there. We're in a different phase, but Employers are not allowing it. So you know what happened? These companies went out there and just made up this catchy, nice PR phrase called quiet quitting and are trying to
make you feel bad about it.
And frame this open and just frame this open refusal to wage theft. Like, y'all worked us to the bone before the pandemic, but now that we learned a thing or two, now you want to put some feelers out there about quiet quitting where people are no longer allowing themselves to be taken advantage of. I'll tell you right now, I won't say what companies I work for, but I honor work-life balance. I don't expect people to respond after a certain time. People have lives, kids, spouses, sometimes multiple spouses.
Though? Like, because like sometimes I find, like, especially when it's your manager and your bosses, or it might be your boss's boss, when you see those coming in, should there be a set expectation that even as a manager to be like, you know what, I know the perception that this might be giving my employees or the folks that work for me, that since I'm saying at 6:30 that my expectation is you should be replying. Should you also utilize the feature and be like, okay, this needs to go out first thing in the morning and things like that, you know?
You know what? Some people need to learn that Microsoft Outlook has a send delay feature, and I will put that shit at 6:32 so it doesn't look like it's staged. So I'm telling you right now, for some people on my team, I know I exercise good judgment in saying, like, if I really need to tell them right now, I'll personally call them, but nothing is that important. So you know what? I'm gonna send this Outlook message to be the first thing you get in your inbox. I hope you've had your coffee. I'm gonna set this Outlook. I'm gonna set this Outlook. Because
Landon's emails probably like
Serena, yesterday continued.
Okay, and I don't delete shit. So when it comes down to, like, listen, I'm sending this at 6:30. And even in my mind, I'm like, you know what? I don't want this person to start the day off with that. Yeah. So I'll do it after 9 o'clock. Otherwise, I'm going to call them. So I'm going to set my Outlook to send this message so that way it's sent. That way it's sent. I don't forget.
Right.
Okay. And then if they do come back and say, oh, you never said something. No, actually, I sent my Outlook at 9:32 on that Thursday because I didn't want to bother you before 9 o'clock before you had your coffee.
You know, that's how
so I know exactly what I did. So me personally, I think I've just learned to respect people's work-life balance. There's nothing... So there's no such thing as quiet quitting. It's setting boundaries and Kerel and Jerrell saying, you know what? I'm done at 5:30. I'm not replying at 5:32, at 6, at 9. Y'all bitches gonna get me at 9 o'clock when I get into this office.
Because here's the thing, I can't remember all those years I was doing it. Can't remember an email that I sent. Can't remember a PowerPoint that I was working on now. It doesn't in the grand scheme. Yes, I get that each thing kind of slowly but surely propels you to the next thing. Get it. But I've said this from day one of my career. I do not want my tombstone to say Kerel was good at Excel and PowerPoint and sending emails. Mm-hmm. I do not want that. If that's what people are telling you about me at the end of my life, I did not live the life that I wanted to live. And so I keep that in the back of my mind. Yes, I want to be great at what I'm doing. Yes, there's going to be days that I might have to work later, and I'm all for it. Cool. But that's not going to be the habitual nature. And honestly, the sad thing for a lot of black and brown people and women and minorities is we don't get that luxury to quiet quit because we got to go above and beyond what the next person is doing to even get promoted and to be seen and to be heard in a lot of corporate America settings. So that's the hard thing. It's just like you hear this, and a lot of times it's white people on TikTok saying this terminology, but in the back of my mind, I'm like, yeah, that sounds good, but that's not the reality of the situation. Is that, like, I don't get that opportunity afforded to me too often to be able to shut down at 5 p.m. because I am trying to scratch and claw and get my paycheck to Kyle over here. You know, and so that's the part of the conversation that I don't think a lot of people are talking enough about. Is just like there's still a bias in even this quiet quitting nature that a lot of folks that look and sound like us aren't quite afforded that opportunity.
It's about presence. It's about presence. Like for me at my job, I try to be as present as possible so that when I'm not there, you know that yeah, like I may not physically be there, but because we have worked so well together and I've established a relationship, a good working relationship, trust, you can make the right decision when I'm not there. And even if you don't, it'll still be a learning lesson for you because listen, I'm off on Sundays and Mondays. Don't text the bitch.
Period.
Don't do it. Don't do it. There's nothing that urgent. There's nothing that urgent. And if there is, guess what? It's not.
It's true. That's what you slowly learn. Like I said, the stuff that I thought was so pressing, that the stuff that they said was so pressing, I don't remember it at all.
Question. In your, how long? 13 years at that previous company?
Yeah.
No shade, but look what happened. Look what happened. So you have to honor your work-life balance with your family, your husband, family.
Yeah.
And there's, at the end of the day, again, just like you said, and someone said this to me a very long time ago, I was dating this dude and this dude said to me, you work too much. Like I can't. And someone said to me, no one's going to remember you by that. And no one's last words is, oh, I wish I would have worked more.
I wish I would have sent that email at 6:32.
No. That's what that delay send is for. No. Yeah.
So it's just interesting. And again, it's these young kids saying, okay, enough's enough. We seen y'all crazy. Y'all crazy out here trying to work us to the bone. We ain't doing that, especially when a lot of times it's not truly what you feel is your passion in life. So it's like you work yourself to the bone and ain't got time for the stuff that really brings you joy. So that's, yeah. And honestly, we might have to do a part 2 of this to see what DeJuan thinks just from the HR side. And I already know what he's going to say. Like, we know him well enough to know what he's saying because he's rooting for everybody black and doing what you need to do to have that balance. But just the perception of this, I'm wondering what the professional setting is even saying behind the scenes from an HR setting, because I'm sure they're having these conversations saying, okay, what are we going to do? And it is what it is. So, what do you think of Jerrell? You've been mighty quiet over there.
Oh,
good.
Sure. No, honestly, like I am very fortunate to be where I am right now and have a team where once you are off, you are off.
Yeah.
And they will wait till the next day to send that email and send that Slack. I don't even have my work email on my phone. That is not the standard. That is not the expectation. Luckily, we teach. I teach, so our classes are set. So if it's not during the teaching time, like there's nothing I can do.
Yeah.
There's nothing I can do. You know. So like, class ain't happening. Like, what do you want from me? You know.
Yeah.
But like just the department where I work at, like they've just been so fantastic, and I've never had this where like almost every other month now they've been like, don't forget about your mental health day, so make sure you work with your manager, and if you can, take a day off on us. You know, just like they've been doing it like a bunch this year, and I'm just like, damn, like that's super nice. And like I had been like overworked and I've been feeling stressed to the point where like I had to up my antidepressants, and I was having panic attacks, and my doctor prescribed me Xanax. And my boss was like, I'm worried about you. And and whenever a boss says, can I meet with you? And the first thing they say is, I'm worried about you. I was like, oh shit, I'm not performing well. I'm about to, and she was just like, and literally she just real talk, she was just like, your health comes first. And she was like, if we need to remove some things around and shift some things, let's make it happen. But we care and we want you to succeed and all the rest of the stuff. And it was just nice to have someone be like, I see you struggling, and I'm not gonna wait for you to tell me that you're doing this. I see it, and we're gonna do something about it. And I never had somebody like that do that for me. And I was just great. Like, you know what? I appreciate that.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yes.
And that's when you want to work hard for exactly. And that's what companies don't realize. Like they still almost have this low-key slave master mentality at a lot of these companies, thinking this fear and the shit like that is going to work. No. This new generation, like we started it, millennials, we started it. This Gen Z is like, fuck all that. We tearing this bitch down.
When it
I'm
comes
here
to,
for it.
when it comes down to mental health for people, you know, black, brown, and queer, black and brown or queer, mental health, that space can be a struggle for us, and that does include and require a little bit of vulnerability. But listen, y'all bitches driving me crazy. I'm out. That's a wrap. Like, I'm not about to lose my livelihood for a company that may or may not, that's the distinguishing line right there, may or may not give a fuck about me. So you know what? When it comes down to certain things, when a mental health break is needed, when family situations arise, y'all want to give a bitch 3 days of bereavement time? No. Like, people don't get over and get into new normal in 3 days. It doesn't work like that. So props to the company that you work for, Jerrell, where you are being seen in that space when the space that you are in is maybe not necessarily who you are, and being able to be seen like that.
But I also want to point out too, though, like, not everyone is in a place where they can just say fuck that job. Right. That's part of the conversation that, like, I also want to make sure that we're talking about, because we need to give the alternative to, like, well, if you're not in a situation, how can you better? Because this Gen Zs, you know, they all right. They're like, hey, we started like this, so it's gonna be like this. But some of us are in places where we're like having to be like, oh wait, no, I also don't want that shit to happen. But guess what? I got bills to pay. I got kids. I got all this other stuff where I cannot just say fuck this.
Niggas in college,
you know. But that was other thing too. Like, I talk about, you know, this to my students all the time. Like, some of us can't even go back to school to get the degree to have a job in which we actually have our passion for. You know, I love the conversation, thanks to these Gen Zs as well too, is the non-traditional route to get into having a job that brings you that joy as well. You know, so there's a lot more to just, you know, to this that needs to be discussed. And that's why I agree with you too, Kerel. Like, we really need to have a part 2 to this, because we have to have that other side too of like, well, how do we help the people who have to stay in these hard jobs that don't give a fuck about them?
Quickly, Jackson, Mississippi, the no water thing, crazy.
How are we in 2022 that this is happening?
Well, it's a black ass city, that's why.
Of course.
We saw it with Flint and nothing happened. We've seen it with Jackson, Mississippi, nothing's happening. And there was that, I posted, I can't remember if I put it on my personal or on Minority Report, where it was like, Ukraine, here's $3 billion, and Israel, here's $8 billion. Jackson, Mississippi, don't take a shower. Don't drink the water. It's like, what the fuck? Like,
close your eyes or open your mouth when you take a shower.
Right.
Like,
it's like, what in the world? So it's just like, and the sad thing is, like, they've been knowing that this water plant was like on the brink. And honestly, the scary thing is, this is all over this country. The infrastructure in this country is just falling apart. Like, San Fran right now is going through a similar thing where they're saying, okay, a lot of this stuff that you thought the fish were just dying was because of algae blooms and climate change. The algae blooms need food. And they're realizing their sewage is starting to leak into their water system and stuff. So San Fran's another sister city. But the sad thing that, you know, San Fran is right there in tech culture. They're going to find some billions to probably prop up San Fran. But it's a black city of Jackson, Mississippi. They're like, we ain't got no money. No, we need to speak up and speak out.
We have money.
We got money. They just don't feel like doing it for black people.
Right.
So we got to continue to speak up and speak out We saw as we continue to speak up and speak out how, okay, they said we had no money, but they found enough money to cancel some of the student loans. I know still some people wasn't enough, but it's a start. We need to continue to speak up and speak out to get the money allocated to where we really need it to be allocated. And yes, we definitely need to make sure we keep an eye on humanitarian efforts across the world, because if you're a leader, that is part of being a leader, is looking out for for others across the world. But at the same time, we got a budget and be like, okay, Ukraine, you get maybe not 3 billion, you get 1.5 billion, and we need to take that other 1.5 billion and send it down to Jackson, Mississippi to make sure they got some water stuff. Like, can take a fucking shower. Like, come on now.
I hate to say it, but I'm gonna say it. Is there a white person that is willing to volunteer themselves for tribute to go there, get sick, and die so then they can care about the water that's happening there?
And it was so crazy. Like, I was on the subway from the U.S. Open and was like, it's all crowded on the subway. And the guy across from us, he was there with his family. And like, everyone always comments on my voice. They're like, oh, your voice, da 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 da. And he's like, where are you from? I was like, oh, just moved to Philly. Blah, blah, blah. I was like, where are you from? He's like, Dallas. I was like, oh, I used to live in Dallas. And somehow he started talking about how his son, like, because he was there with his $2 and wife, his son couldn't go. He used to play tennis, like, either in college or something like that. But he goes to school in Jackson, Mississippi. He's like, oh, yeah, but he's just down at my, my lake house, this and that, and da 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 da. And it was just, like, so kind of almost cavalier that it just shows you still that privilege sometimes. And it doesn't mean that black people don't got lake houses and nothing like that. That's not what it means. It just means sometimes even in situations where the city literally is predominantly black, there's still even white folks that don't even live there that are still kind of just looking at it as a very cavalier thing. So so I say all that to say we just need to continue as black and brown folks and minority groups to speak up for the shit we need, because sometimes folks are so far gone or removed from it, even when they got people in the situation, they have the means and the privilege to get them out at a lake house where they got water and shit.
I mean, did little Timmy fall down the well at that lake house? Like, something needs to
right, exactly. So it's like, we need one of them, and it ain't gonna be that dude from Dallas.
No, so ain't.
And then, you know what? I actually kind of feel for Kanye right now. Adidas is still in all his art and his ideas, and I don't agree with it. And I was like, damn, Kanye, you actually got a point. A lot of times he actually does have a point. It's just the way he go about shit.
Delivering.
A lot of times.
Like 99% this time, but I'm like, damn, like, it's so blatant what Adidas is doing to him. And as a black man that has propped up,
I don't know the story.
Literally they're releasing all these shoes that look like all the Yeezys that Yeezy designs. But they're not Yeezys now. They're just Adidas shoes. And so he's trying to get them to be like, hey, what's going on? Like, you're not taking my calls no more. You guys aren't doing this and this and this. So he's just trolling them on Instagram right now. And the sad thing is the head guy is a black man. And it's like, come on, dude. Like, you see it so many times where white culture, white companies steal or prop themselves up on the backs and cultures of black people. And that's exactly what's happening again. Because Adidas wasn't, quote unquote, cool again until Kanye kind of started selling them Yeezys again. And so it's just another situation again where you see, we're going to use you for what we need you for. We got what we needed. Push you aside. And it sucks that it's Kanye, because it's just like, damn it, Kanye. Like, I don't want to root for you because you just problematic on other terms. But in this situation, again, I'm like, damn, you right, though.
Those shoes are ugly.
They ugly. Fuck. They ugly,
Who give a fuck about
but theft is
but
theft,
black
girl.
people are blinded.
Theft is theft, girl.
Exactly.
Even if it's ugly.
Even if it's ugly. So like he's trolling the shit out of him, trying to be like, hey, y'all, like, y'all need to, like, take my calls. Hey, like, if we got this partnership and you got under contract, why are you still in my designs and my ideas for shit that aren't under my brand?
I mean, we have talked about this for the third podcast in a row about white folks stealing black folks shit. We talked about it during the Dr. Q episode, the one that I read Dewan on, and now here we go. So
she said the one.
I get it. When I'm steadfast in that, but when it comes down to who Kanye is, like, it's hard to give him any credibility.
I know.
It's hard to root for you. It's hard to give you any credibility in this, given your past
and the way he go about shit,
and the way and the delivery, how you go about shit. So it's a toughie, especially like you want to root for your people. You want to root for your people, and then like, dude, you're fucking trash. Like, it's hard to root for trash. I mean, I root for Jerrell all the time, but that's because he's my friend.
I was waiting for it.
You saw the setup.
I saw the gears turning because she leaned into the camera to make sure that I saw her, and I was like, "It's coming, it's coming."
The second thing is like, I just hate that it's another black dude at this company.
I mean, all skin folk ain't kinfolk.
It's true, and sometimes it's just like you get to these levels where, again, you think you're playing the game at Adidas. Like, oh, they need me. You know, like, I got up here, I played the game, I'm in these positions. And then next thing you know, your ass might be out too. And you did this to another person that looks like you, that came up and stuff like that, you know? And that's the sucky part. But yeah, we'll see what happens with it. I mean, Kanye always has a way of rebounding and doing something fresh again. Right, wrong, and different. If you like it or don't like it. Moving the culture, and clearly Adidas literally has,
I don't know, something just
profited so much from Adidas.
Something ain't right.
I got so many questions. I mean, the nigga can't even keep a divorce lawyer, so I just got some questions on what's going on in his life where
he keep getting this negative stuff.
I don't know why that's so funny.
I'm done. Oh, done.
Can't even keep a divorce lawyer. God damn.
Keep a divorce lawyer. I know that's right. Well, on that note, continue to wash your hands, your legs, and your ass. Get your divorce lawyer situation straight, and we'll see you next week.
Subscribe.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.